What is up, self-made Homestead family? Hey, it's the kid Mike May, aka Captain Wiggler, signing in live and direct from the basement, which is going to be the home for my new fab series. It is called Maye'd. And in this series, I'm showing you that quality welds, quality tools, and all of those things are accessible for you. You don't need $1 million machines. You don't need all of the fancy hem zabs and zoo wops. All you got to do is think outside of the box. Speaking of that, in today's video, we're turning this US General 30-inch service cart in white into my daily welding cart for the content you guys are about to see. Now, in my last video, I built this. This is the Chicago Electric welding cart, which is now home, as I said in the video, to my Miller Diversion 165 TIG welder. It's ready to go, ready to rock, but this thing is gonna be covered up after the video is done, and we're gonna go ahead and use a Harbor Freight machine to build most of this content. Now that this thing's out of the way, we're gonna get to work on assembling this 30-inch service cart, but I wanted to show you really quickly how neatly this thing tucks in. Like, look, that's a $2,000 machine, foot switch installed. Shout out to Cardinal Sales and Service out in Morgantown for getting me right. They dialed that thing in for me. If you need your welder serviced, make sure you get it from a licensed professional, hopefully registered with the brand that you rep. For me, I use Miller because, you know, it's the stuff of legend, history in and of itself. But enough on this. We're gonna get into this 30-inch cart. Let's get it. Okay, guys, this is a Harbor Freight pro tip. Let me tell you something that's awesome about Harbor Freight. Sometimes you'll find open box specials which make the deals even sweeter. So if you're not a member of the Inside Track Club, do that. It's worth it if you build stuff. But I wanna show you this really quick. So I'm gonna walk behind this box and show you why this is awesome. And I'll do it from the bad side. So I was at Harbor Freight, and you see how this box has the lid ripped off? Yeah, all of these packing supplies were in it, still sealed up. But because this box was ripped on shipping, the lid was completely missing. Y'all, I had to make sure it was there. I got this thing for 77 bucks. You cannot beat that deal, okay? So I encourage you to check out their open box stuff. Once again, just because this was missing, I got that cart for $77. And what I'm going to tell you is this cart will make its money back. I guarantee it. If you're opening a fab shop, your tools gotta get paid for by your work. That's rule number one, okay? Otherwise you're doing it for practice. We don't have time for that. We're go-getters. So, look for the open box specials. Ask the managers, ask the retail associates where they are, go through them. Now, because of what I just said, the box was open, you wanna remember rule number one. It says, when unpacking, make sure that the product is intact and undamaged. If any parts are missing or broken, please call, and then there's the number, as soon as possible, okay? So, as long as everything's there, and by the way it was, oh, and in the last video, I showed you about these magnetic cups. Huge, huge for all of the stuff we're about to do right now. I'm doing it in phases. That's tip number 2. Do everything in phases. Don't go over your head. Inspect your boxes and look for the open boxes, okay? So, we're going to get into it. Now, for this build, I like to use a crescent wrench for those hard-to-reach nooks and crannies. This is a Phillips number 2. That's a 13. And that's a 10. So I got a 1/4-inch drive socket with a ratchet with an extension, and a 10 and 13 millimeter 1/4-inch drive socket. That's all you're gonna need. Okay, so we'll get this thing going. Okay, so here's the service manual, the owner's manual and safety instructions. Now, those are the product codes if you wanna grab this thing, okay? That's the product codes. Now, I always save these manuals in a drawer And it's funny because this thing has a drawer, so that's where I'll keep them. Now, the item color for what I'm doing is this one, the white one. 58338, okay? Now, it can hold 350 pounds. We're never gonna do that, but if I decided to sit on this thing, I could do it plus like 2 more me. Anyway, first things first, it says right here, do not sit, stand, or climb on this item. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that, okay? We're gonna put this thing together. First step, the wheels, okay? You got locking swivel casters and you got non-locking swivel casters. It doesn't matter which side you put them on, but here's a pro tip. Make sure that the locking ones are on the same side. I mean, it should go without saying. I'll check back after we do that. But that's step one, install the wheels. Okay, so here we are. The wheels have been installed. A couple of tips. Number one, make sure that both of your locking casters are on one side, the non-locking casters on the other. Also, in the bottom tray, there are square cuts. These bolts on the underside are carriage bolts. So you got a nylock locking nut, washer, and a carriage bolt for each one of these, okay? Make sure that you get everything in there finger tight, and then insert the square into the cutout on the tray, and you won't have to use another tool on the top side. You can just use the 13 millimeter to lock her down. That's step one. Step two, we're going to attach this and this. Not the verticals yet, that's coming. Here we go. Okay, the top tray has now been attached to the drawer. Now, if you find yourself in the situation where your drawer has already been installed to the lower cabinet, let me show you a trick. So, using the keys that are included in the kit, by the way, you get 4 of them. So you can give a pair of them to your wife in case you lose them, and you got 2 that you can keep with you. Now, using those, unlock the drawer, pull it open, and from underneath, let me do this for you, you'll be able to see the hardware. See that? I switched up and grabbed a 3/8 ratchet with a 13 on it because the bolts on the nuts, the nylock nuts are 13 and the bolts themselves are 13. So you can get in there with a little bit of cussing and you get that thing assembled. So now, drawer, look at it. Look. That sounds official, okay? So the drawer is installed, the lower cabinet is installed, and the top shelf is installed. Next, we go vertical. Okay, so we're vertical. Couple of things to mention. Number one, you're gonna need a second person to help you align the holes here and here. Once you get at least one all the way around, you can take off and run with it. Now, I have my wife here. She's up there setting up our shop. We got merch coming, so be sure to like and subscribe so you can be aware of when that is. But she's setting up our shop for that right now. But I asked her to come help me. Once we got one in all the way around, I went ahead and ran with it. Now, another pro tip, if you're new to metal fab and you're building square things or rectangle things or anything that requires multiple points of contact, always go diagonally across the object. For instance, I started here, then I went to that corner, then I went to that corner, then I went to that corner for fit up. That makes everything square. If you get in the habit of doing that now, you'll have a lot less drama later. Okay, so next is the handles, and we should be out of this thing. That's a wrap. The handles are in. The included tray liner is in the drawer. Everything was here. The keys were here. And for $77, you can't beat it. If this video was helpful, I want you to mash that subscribe button, share it with those who like to go to Harbor Freight and build stuff. And I hope that it inspired you to go grab one and build it yourself. My name's Mike. We own the Self-Made Homestead, and our job is to teach you how to become more self-reliant. So if we did that, please share this video, like and subscribe. I can't stress it enough. It helps me immensely, and I hope to help you. We'll see you on the next video where we unbox and review the Flux 125 welder from Titanium, which is a Harbor Freight brand. I'm going to teach you guys how to flux core weld properly so that you can weld outside, in the rain, in the wind, absent any kind of shielding gas, which is huge when you're starting up. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.